Well, shit. Well, let's just try. Let's do it again.
Too a lot.
Fuck. All right. You wanna roll with it, or you want me to carry it through?
Okay. We got to do this quick because this is our second time doing it, and we've put roughly a half hour into it, and it kicked us off twice, and we lost everything. Fuck.
That's prime content that you're missing out
Yeah,
on, Slam.
it's true. And now we're just gonna rush through the whole damn thing, and not even it doesn't even matter.
We'll still be boring and funny.
Yeah. Um. This sucks. Here, you start.
Okay. So who gets first draft pick this year? Rodney? Rodney's Gothic assholes. Let me let you guys know what his picks are. He signed Andy Dalton to a 1-year deal, Odell Beckham to a 4-year deal, Sammy Watkins to a 4-year deal, AJ Green to a 3-year deal, and Mike Wallace to a 2-year deal. Justin and I both ranked all these picks for everybody. We each gave Rodney an A-. They were excellent picks, about as perfect as you could be with that team. The only reason it was a minus is because other people made very, very similar picks with their team. They just had a little bit more exciting players. So you did pretty perfect with these picks. Even signing people to the right amount of years. You've got to lock up Beckham, and Sammy Watkins had a great year, so you locked him up. AJ Green is on lock. Mike Wallace is like the only guy, but he's still better than everybody else on your team. 2-year deal is a little risky, maybe, because Minnesota's kind of a black hole for wide receivers at this point. But hey, you've got 4 wide receivers, and he's a number 2 on anybody else's team. He's your number 4 guy. So nice job. Good job.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that was my only difference maker there. Is I would have taken Wallace for 1 year instead of 2, just because you don't know how many ground balls he's going to get from Teddy Bridgewater.
Mm-hmm.
Next we have Wojciech, easily our worst keepers. Jordan and I both gave him a D+ rating. I mean, he made okay choices for what he had, but at the same time, the reason what he had is because of his own undoing. He traded away a bulk of any of the decent players, Marquise Colston, Andre Johnson, Doug Martin. Even though Doug Martin is terrible, he's still kind of better than some of the choices that Josh was left with keeping. So big old Black Vic. Tony Romo for 2 years, wide receiver Steve Smith for 2 years, wide receiver Allen Robinson for 3 years, linebacker Jarrell Freeman for 3 years, and linebacker Khalil Mack for 1 year. Big issues with Allen Robinson for 3 years. Like, he's talented, he's going to be good. He was good whenever he was healthy last year. He's their number 1 guy, but it's Jacksonville and Blake Bortles is your quarterback. 3 years is stretching it. Maybe you kind of dial that down a little bit if he excels in 2 seasons or even after this year, then you can extend it with a franchise tag. Jarrell Freeman, Khalil Mack, not even the best defensive players on your team. Daryl Smith was. Not really sure what you were thinking, taking them over Daryl Smith, and isn't Daryl Smith a Raven?
He is a Raven.
Yeah, and you're a Raven fan. I don't get it.
I think he's a young guy, too.
Yeah. So, but, and Jarrell Freeman for 3 years, he has injury issues.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's...
That being said, I don't think the players were all that bad. They weren't exciting, so that got a knock. There's nothing you could do about that. The signing for the years got a knock. You have something to do with that, but it's kind of a wash for those guys.
Yeah, like your player choices weren't what got you the rating. Like you pretty much chose the best 5 people that you had.
Yeah.
Aside from Daryl Smith, like it was just the contract years were a little off, and the fact that you traded away anybody worth keeping.
Yeah.
All right, next we have Angie. Angie did pretty well. I gave her a B rating. Jordan gave her a B+ rating.
B+.
Quarterback Ryan Tannehill, 3 years. Wide receiver Julio Holmes for 2 years. Running back DeMarco Murray for 2 years. Running back George Bell for 3 years. Running back Bishop Sankey for 3 years. Again, this is kind of like a Wojciech with the ranking wise. It has a lot to do with the years. George Bell and Bishop Sankey, not terrible keepers for who you had on your team. Like, you made the right choices, you kept the right people, but Bishop Sankey for 3 years on the like most atrocious. I can't even talk. I'm so upset about Bishop Sankey.
Fucking Bishop Shanky.
Bishop Sankey was the worst offense.
Yeah.
Anyway, 3 years. I may have kept him just for one. See how he does this year. See if he actually produces, and then you can re-sign him later. Joique Bell, injury concerns. They have a rookie there that's coming in that may take some of his carries, but he's still the guy right now. Our biggest disagreement on it is I think Tannehill was he was the guy. He's the right pick there. I love Tannehill. I think 3 years is great. I think he's going to do great things in Miami. However, Jordan, you disagreed a little bit there.
Yeah, but I mean, not really. I think Kaepernick has a higher ceiling and Tannehill has a higher floor. So just go with your gut on that one. If you're a risk taker and you want high risk, high reward, Kaepernick's not the riskiest player, but he could pay off big time. Tannehill's just going to be your solid stalwart guy. He's not going to disappoint this year. So, you know, it's a wash. It's a personal preference. I like taking risks and being crazy.
Yeah.
And I think you probably made the right call.
Yeah,
that would be the only thing that I would change.
Yeah, it's true. Like Tannehill's more consistent, so like his highs and lows are right here. Kaepernick a little less consistent, so he can have a terrible game, but he rushes so much that in our league he could score up here.
Sure.
So the range is there. Tannehill, I prefer the consistency.
Yep.
All right, so moving on, if you want to take that over.
Yeah, he's
Tim?
next. Tim's next.
The old
Angie's-
T-Rex flex.
Angie's worst half. Overall, pretty good, Tim. I gave you a B. Justin gave you a B as well. Tom Brady at quarterback for 2 years. Percy Harvin, 1 year. Jordan Matthews, 3 years. Le'Veon Bell, 3 years. Heath Miller, 2 years. Pretty good, pretty solid. Wouldn't have changed much. Maybe Victor Cruz over Heath Miller or Percy Harvin for me. Victor Cruz, I don't know if you realize, was the #1 guy in New York before he got injured early in the season last year. Didn't play much. Odell Beckham's on the scene. He's the big guy. He's the next big thing. He's going to take some targets from Cruz, but he's also going to take some coverage. So New York's going to struggle. They're going to have to throw the ball, and Victor Cruz is going to be, an 80-catch guy, I think, this year. So it's hard to pass him up as a keeper. I think he's going to outperform Heath Miller, and he's probably going to outperform Percy Harvin. So either of those guys switched out for Victor Cruz, I think, was the way to go. But overall, not bad. I mean, you went with pretty solid, safe, conservative picks, and I like it. That's why I gave you a B.
Yeah, I'm actually I'm kind of with Jordan. I had you at a B plus. I actually marked it down to a B before we started, and I've kind of decided to give you a B minus instead as we've been doing this. The B minus because, like Jordan, instead of Heath Miller and Percy Harvin, I would have gone with Victor Cruz and Kenny Stills. Though I'm bigger on Miami. I think Miami's going to do some really good things. I think Kenny Stills going to do amazing things there. And I think Victor Cruz, he was injured. Maybe you overlooked him a little bit because he didn't produce last season. Though Percy Harvin is a solid pick, and a 1-year deal is the perfect way to take on that risk.
Yep. Nice job.
Next, we have Chris Miller. Most of you probably don't know him. He's taking over Andrew's team. Andrew's dropping out again. Andrew actually just enlisted in the Marines, and in the middle of the football season, he's expected to go off to basic training and all that garbage. So, I guess I should be a little more respectful than say all that garbage.
Nah, it's all good.
All that stuff.
Godspeed, sir.
So, we're proud of him, and he told me he didn't want to be dragged away in the middle of the season. So, it's good. Chris, you did okay with what you had to work with.
Andrew left you a terrible team.
Yeah, Andrew did leave you with a pretty bad team. He was never really good, but we loved him anyway. Anyway, you kept Phillip Rivers for 2 years, Alshon Jeffrey for 3 years, Jamal Charles for 3 years. That's solid. And then you kept Martellus Bennett for 1 year and Joe Hayden for 1 year. The years are good. Keeping them for one is the way to go. Though I would have maybe gone with some other people. I mean, there wasn't much to choose from, but there was a little bit of wiggle room. I personally gave you a C, and Jordan gave you a C minus.
C minus. I don't like the Hayden keep.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of players that perform at that level that would be available for pick, and I'm not sure there was somebody on the team that I was like crazy about, and you didn't pick. I forget who it was, but yeah, that was the big knock for me. I'm pulling it up right now, I think. So
Yeah, like the Hayden situation, and it may not be your fault because Hayden,
Pierre Garcon. Yeah.
Pierre Garcon.
I don't like the Redskins at all.
I would have kept Garcon over.
Yeah, Garcon's a target monster. I mean, he's a year removed from a 100-catch season or something like that. So it's hard to overlook him. But
yeah, so a C minus, but it's not entirely your fault. You're new to the league.
Yeah.
New to the scoring settings. You don't really know the meta of the league.
You'll pick up quick. We all suck.
Yep. So anyway, that's our first part here.